for joining us today on Playing the Field. I'm Maria Serrao. So much to get to in today's show, but let's start with the big news, the big show, you might say, at Dodger Stadium. It's official. Shohei Ohtani is now a Los Angeles Dodger, and he was introduced to the media this week at Dodger Stadium.
Wait to join the Dodgers. They share the same passion as me. Have a vision and a history all about winning, and I share the same values. So just can't wait to join the team and get it going. And there's a lot of other people that was involved in this whole process, and people from other teams. And I would like to thank everybody that was just involved in this whole process. I'm very thankful for everyone. Thank you very much.
And as for the Dodgers, well, they're not done. They're in the process of adding some starting pitching, which they so desperately need. Now, I had a chance earlier this week with all the big news to sit down with our Dodger insider, Amy Cuevas, to talk all about the $700 million man. And there was a lot to say.
Amy, did you think that there would be this much excitement about Joe Kelly re-signing with the Dodgers?
You know, I was excited. I pulled out my Joe Kelly jersey just today, just to start dusting it off.
And
Because
you
he's
better,
highlighting the news.
I think now actually it's going to be an antique, right? Because is he not going to give his number 17 jersey to Mr. Shohei Ohtani, who will now be a Dodger?
What? Shohei's a Dodger? Are you kidding me?
I know. Can you believe that? It got buried with this whole story about Joe Kelly, but yeah. So Saturday, where were you on Saturday when you heard the news?
I was actually watching movies in bed.
I was at Macy's and my phone is like blowing up. And I'm like, what is going on? I just forgot about the day. And it was like, oh, okay.
I was actually excited. I'd been at Dodger Stadium the day before. I went and took a tour, kind of the calm before the storm,
Yes.
and then was relaxing on Saturday, got the news, and immediately texted my baseball best friend and was like, huh.
I think everybody is in a little bit of shock because there was the opportunity maybe that he would go to Toronto. And after dealing with him for 5 years at the Angels, and I shouldn't say dealing, but after being a reporter and covering him, it was interesting to me because, he likes his privacy. And I thought if he goes to Toronto, it's a perfect place for him because you can kind of get lost in Toronto. It's not a big major market. It's a beautiful city, but it's not really, it's not the LA Dodgers. And as you know, there's a huge difference between the Angels and the Dodgers. You can't hide at Dodger Stadium.
No. Oh, there's no way. And people, especially Dodgers fans, they want to know more about their players. Like when Mookie started his podcast to let people get to know baseball players better, like everybody, like you heard a lot of buzz around that. So people are going to have questions about who he is, like who is he like as a person?
Right. And they already want to know about the dog that we don't even know if the dog was his and what his name is. So we'll have lots of questions to ask Shohei Ohtani down the road, but let's do a little baseball for a minute. So we know $700 million is some of the money is going to get deferred because he does want a better ball club and he's willing to give up a lot of the money. And I can tell you that he makes so much in endorsements. There will be Japanese endorsements all over Dodger Stadium as there was at Angel Stadium. So that's pretty good. I mean, he's smart to do that because as you and I have talked, the Dodgers need a lot more help. We'll go into the pitching in a minute. Right now, it looks like Mookie Betts. This could be your potential lineup for right-handed versus left-handed. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Jason Hayward, who, by the way, I am so glad that he is back because he shared with me that he has really been a vocal leader in that locker room, and I am just beyond thrilled that he's back. So Jason Hayward, Chris Taylor, James Outman, and Gavin Lux. So then they would add in, I guess, Miguel Vargas and Miguel Rojas for left-handed pitchers. That's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah. I mean, we have some wiggle room too. Betts can also spell Hayward. Taylor can play kind of all over the field and trying to kind of figure out where Rojas fits into that.
Yes.
And then now we've got a pretty stellar DH coming in. So
just a little bit. Just a
I
little.
mean, the rumors I hear are that he's pretty good. I think he might have won MVP.
I would stay with those rumors. No, but for pitching, as like I said, I mean, we've talked about this, but really, this is the Achilles heel, and Shohei will not pitch next season. So you're looking at Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May, who will not start the season. They don't think. Walker Buehler should. Bobby Miller.
And Walker Buehler, there's rumors that because of however the 40-man roster shakes out, he may be either IL stint because they're limiting his pitching. He may not be built up to starting pitching at the beginning of the season. So that's also something to take into consideration as we start to build the starting pitching around the team.
So Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, Gavin Stone, and Michael Grove. So we've got
rookies.
Yeah, we've got 4 kids that will be able to pitch. And then Clayton Kershaw, I can't imagine that he's not going to want to come back at least just for 1 year because of Ohtani being there. I think he's going to want to play with him for maybe his last season. But he won't be available for at least 6 months out of the time when the season starts, or at least halfway through the year. So if he comes back, it will be much later. This is the big question, is who do they bring in? I would love to see Yamamoto in Dodger Blue. Of course, they're also talking $300 million. What's another $300 million, right?
But at this point, does he take a discount to come play with Shohei and everybody? Like, Shohei's not, it's not like he's just the only person on the team. It's not like, Mike Trout in Anaheim. Correct. You've got Mookie Betts, you've got Freddie Freeman, and then all of these other caliber players. Like, these guys aren't, I mean, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good. Yes, they're pretty good. So maybe Yamamoto, and having played with Shohei in the World Baseball Classic, they're friends, and that's a possibility. I know a lot of other teams are looking at him. Of course, the Giants, Toronto, every team in
Mets,
MLB.
the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. What I thought was really funny about the Shohei story, and I'm sure you heard the same thing, because every day on my phone it would be Shohei's going to the Giants, Shohei's going to St. Louis, Shohei had great interest in Toronto, great interest by the Texas Rangers, Shohei is going to Seattle. I mean, I started making a list, and I was just laughing because every single day there was a different Shohei story.
They just mark it off on the map, all the little spots. I mean, the Braves popped up as, the Braves are now interested. Like, everybody had their hand in the Shohei pot, and I guess the Dodgers won. So
I guess so. The Shohei sweepstakes is now over. It's now closed. Blake Snell is still out there on the market too, which I would love to see Blake Snell. I mean, anybody that has been a proven veteran, I would say come to the Dodgers now and help us out, because we do need more arms. It's so funny. I remember several years ago being in spring training, and they had literally 8 starters. And it's like, what are you going to do with all these starters? By mid-season, there were 2 left on the roster. Everybody else had either gotten hurt or had some kind of something going on. So you can never really have too many, but there is a limited amount of people you can have.
And I think that's what we're seeing now is the market for pitching, especially starting pitching. It's so sparse. There's so much scarcity there that, I mean, like you said, you can't have enough. And oh my gosh, like the fact that we even made it to the postseason and 100 wins last year, like that's just a testament to the team because of, how we did limp along with Tony and, Dustin going out. So if we can just bolster that this year, bring that in around the rookies, you've got, like you mentioned, we've got Hayward, we've got him for the veteran leadership in the field. Now we need some more leadership on the pitching side.
And I think that's a really good point too, because the rookies that will be in their second year,
Mhm.
second year rookies, I guess they're not rookies anymore. They will be a little better, and they will have been better by having some playoff experience. Albeit it wasn't the best playoff experience, but I think it's just once sort of going through that mentally and physically, like, okay, this is what happened. It wasn't good, but the learning that you would gain from that is going to be immeasurable. And it gives them more confidence coming back the second year and saying, okay, this is what I've learned last year. Now I can feel more comfortable. But I personally would feel more comfortable if there were a few veterans mixed in there as well.
That, and you mentioned the postseason, like just being able to check that box, but now, okay, we've gotten over it. So the next year it's not going to be as daunting.
Yeah, and is Joe Kelly is he middle reliever? Is he closer? Where are you at with that one?
I mean, so far we've been using him as middle reliever in those high leverage situations. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a great ERA for, right before he got injured. Like he was, I don't think he really had given up any runs.
No, he was
He
great.
was on fire. And
Yeah.
so if we can get that back, if this time in the off season lets him rest up, his elbow, he comes back full scale, maybe we still don't have a closer. We've
And
been
we
doing
haven't
closer by committees for what, a year?
years.
About a year. Yeah.
It's
Because
been
Kimbrel had it in
he
2022.
did. He sort of didn't fit really, but yeah, he was sort of the closer. It's I just feel like it's been a long time since Kenley, since and I guess it wasn't that long ago, but we do need to find somebody who can. I think that it's better to have a designated closer. There's something about that security of wow, that's our eighth to ninth inning guy, depending on the bullpen was actually good, but I think where it gets really confusing for me in baseball is when the starting pitching is and then they start putting the middle relievers into start and they do all this weirdness with the pitching and I'm just like wait what this guy's gonna pitch the first inning and then we're gonna have somebody else for the second inning, like what is going on?
Having those openers, and then sometimes we're piggybacking, and like there's merit for all of those situations. Like I definitely get having that opener, give somebody, here, take a couple innings off, let's switch it up a little bit, or even piggybacking. As we know, starting pitching, they're not going deep into the games anymore. We're not seeing
No.
seventh and eighth inning pitchers, barely any that are pitching a complete or going through all the innings on a
Oh,
complete game. But
yeah,
um
I'd settle for just 7.
right. And we're just not seeing that. So the
No.
bullpens are getting more taxed. So we need to make sure that those arms not only are rested, but we have proven arms like we even saw with Evan Phillips last year. He was our go-to guy. And then towards the end of the season, I think we just wore him out a little bit. Like it got a little iffy, I think, the last couple of those games. But if we can just rest these guys up and get them some good pitching to, maybe get to the fifth, sixth, who knows, seventh inning.
What is your feeling on some of the younger players, the younger pitchers? Who do you think was the best last year? I know everybody's really high on Bobby Miller. I liked Emmett Sheehan a lot. But I mean, there's something to be said for all of them. But what's your feeling?
I mean, Bobby Miller definitely he outshone. It was like him and James Outman. Outman in center field, Bobby Miller on the mound. They had, I think, really great rookie years. I think Sheehan was probably up there for me. He had a couple rocky games, but again, I think what we all forget, they're just coming up from the minors. Like they got called up. I think Sheehan even came from AA. Like
He
he didn't
did.
even go through AAA. I think Pepio had actually some really good numbers too once he came back from that injury after spring
Mhm.
training. So I think those would be my 3. But the other guys did great too. Grove, who was the other one?
The other one that we talked about was Gavin Stone.
Yes. I mean, I think they have a little bit more growing to do, but I think my 3 right there would have been Miller, Sheehan, and Pepio.
Yeah, I love talking to Sheehan. When I asked him, I said, "So what happened when you found out you were coming up here?" And he said, "Well, my manager called me in the office and he's like, I thought I was just moving up to the next level." And he's like, "Oh, am I moving up?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're going to Dodger Stadium." And he was like, "What?"
Welcome to the show.
Well, yeah, you're going to the show. They don't have any more arms. And he was just like, "Okay."
I think it's admirable what these guys did. They stepped up in a year where, unexpected stuff happens all the time, but to come up, whether it's AA, AAA, like that would freak me out. You're on the world's biggest stage. You're in front of 56,000 fans and,
Yeah.
everybody is just waiting to see how you're going to perform. Like that's a lot of pressure.
It really is. I think that sometimes I think that the younger you are, the easier it is because you don't think about it as much either. You're just like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing it. Because if you took the time to think about it too much, you'd just be like, I am out. Like this is ridiculous, you know. But
Right.
they dream about those moments too. So I'm just sure that now coming back, they're all going to be more comfortable, which is just huge. I think it just helps you for all those reasons that we talked about, just to kind of say, okay, I've been there before. I know what the dugout looks like. I know what it feels like. I know where my locker is, and so on and so forth.
So what about the Angels? Now, they may have lost Shohei Ohtani, but they still have Mike Trout, and they have a brand new manager in Ron Washington. I had a chance to meet up with the new skipper in Anaheim, so here's more from his press conference.
Commitment, attitude, and effort. That's what we got to get to. If we got to get to being committed, and that's not just being committed to your game, it's being committed to everyone that's involved, bringing the attitude every day, because when you wake up in the morning, you control that. You can wake up in the morning and have a bad attitude, or you can wake up in the morning and have a good attitude, okay? And the effort. We need the effort every day. So that's what I mean by that. I didn't mean that, guys are not doing what they're supposed to do, but we just got to commit to the attitude, commitment, and effort part of it every single day. And that has to be committed to every player that's involved. That will be a part of our club. That's the 40-man roster. My main priority is to reach out to Mike Trout, to reach out to Rondon, to make sure that we can get on the same page, because those are the two huge leaders here, and I do want them to lead. And they won't be able to lead by themselves, but I want them to take lead, because all the players, all the younger players we got around here look up to those guys, and I want them to lead.
And spring training will definitely be interesting this year from Arizona, and we're just about 60 days away, so stay tuned. Well, this week, the Chargers finally parted ways with head coach Brandon Staley and general manager Tom Telesco. Now, this was not a surprise. We've seen it coming for a long time, especially after the brutal loss at the hands of the Raiders this week, 63-21. So now I'm going to give you just a few of my own thoughts about what has gone wrong with the Los Angeles Chargers. There has been a disconnect with this Los Angeles Chargers team and head coach Brandon Staley for quite some time. And I'm not putting all of the blame on him, but when you walk into that locker room, you don't feel a connection. You didn't feel like those players were actually playing for their head coach or for each other. So they have to get somebody else in there in that locker room that will change the culture of this team and really have them playing not only for their fans, but for the city of Los Angeles, for their head coach, for each other. So now what? They're going to play their last 3 games of the season with an interim head coach and an interim general manager. That will give them some time, some of the ownership, Dean Spanos, to put together a strategy and a plan for 2024. It's coming fast, and they've got to fix this team because there is far too much talent, starting with quarterback Justin Herbert, for this team to not be competitive every year. They should be in the playoffs or at least competing for a playoff berth. I mean, some people were talking about this team going to the Super Bowl this year. So it's time to fix the problems at the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll see what they can do. And those are just a few of the thoughts I have on the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll be right back. And the Los Angeles Rams have decided to make Woodland Hills, California, the site of their new home. In fact, right on the grounds of a mall that I used to shop at Warner Center. Now, there was a big event there a couple of weeks ago, and Rams president of football operations, Kevin Demoff, was there to kick it off.
I am here to announce that in 2024, the Rams will be moving our headquarters to Woodland Hills in advance of the 2024 season. So hopefully that means a Super Bowl after the 2024 season may. I know Stan, in his belief in the city of Los Angeles and the power of what it can be in investing in this community, we wanted to locate the headquarters in the city of Los Angeles, and here we were able to get to a great spot in Woodland Hills. But it's important to us to have a foothold and a presence in the city of Los Angeles. It's important when you engage with, LA Unified School District, when you engage with some of the community partners out here, being, of Los Angeles, from Los Angeles. As we said in, the presentation, we were Los Angeles' first professional sports team. If you come back to 1946, and that takes a special pride. We've always been innovators. We've always been proud of our tradition with the city of Los Angeles, and to set up shop right here in Warner Center, one of the fastest growing pieces of Los Angeles in Woodland Hills, was tremendously important to ownership and to us as an organization.
And as the holidays are upon us, it's also known as the season of giving, and the NFL follows suit with that with an initiative called My Cause My Cleats. Now, this is when all the players in the league have the opportunity to put their favorite charities or their foundations on their cleats. Now, I caught up with 4 Rams who did just that, and I'm going to tell you why rookie wide receiver Puka Nacua has 2 charities on his cleats. Here's more. All right, we are joined by Puka Nacua today here at the Los Angeles Rams. We're talking My Cause My Cleats. It's going to be your very first year doing this incredible charity. Now, you're going to have 2 charities. I want you to tell me about them because you'll have one on each shoe, which is very different.
Indeed so. So on my left foot, I'm actually going to have the Single Mom Planet. I come from a single mom home. My father had passed away at a young age. And so just due to my family circumstances, being so close to my mom and everything that she's done for me to help me get to where I am forever grateful for her. So I can't wait to be able to showcase my mom once more and always have my jersey, my last name on the back of my jersey. And then on my right cleat, I'll be wearing the Diabetes Foundation for my father. Had passed away when I was 11 years old due to diabetes complications. So being able to honor them both, I try to do that every Sunday when I play, but being able to show them something extra and be able to give back to those foundations and bring awareness to those things is something I'm super excited about.
The NFL is so great at giving back. It's such an important component of what you guys do. What does that mean to you as a player to know that you're going to give back and really bring awareness to these very worthwhile charities?
I just think it's just a moment of appreciation. We get, I guess, the glory of being able to play the game of football and do what I love to do, but being able to, like I mentioned, bring awareness and give back to these people who support us and are, I know my father isn't here, but my mom, those are some of my biggest fans. So being able to give back to those people, because I'm not the only one who has a mom and dad out here on this team. So being able to support those people who have sacrificed for every person in this facility to be here. So it's an all-encompassing and being a part of a big family here.
Now, have you seen the cleats yet?
Yes, I have for one time. It was super sweet. I really love them. I think everybody's going to like them. I hope so.
We can't wait to see them, of course, on the morning of Sunday when the game happens. It's going to be very exciting. And then will you keep your cleats? Will you donate them? What will you do? It's your first year.
If that is keeping them as an option, I'm definitely planning on donating to them. My rookie year. I would definitely maybe later down the road I'll keep my cleats, but I'm excited to be able to give back to these ones. I told my mom will get a pair of cleats special when that'll be the ones I wear every single time. So she'll get a different pair of cleats, but to give back to the foundation is definitely what I'm planning on doing.
Yeah, it's a foundation that just brings awareness to cardiac arrest. There's a kid who I grew up with, Robbie Brindley, who his little brother actually unfortunately passed away to a cardiac arrest situation. So his family just started a foundation to bring awareness of it and honor Mike, and I just thought cool thing to contribute to and help bring awareness to something that relates to my hometown. So yeah, no, I think it's an awesome thing that the NFL does, just giving us a week to kind of express ourselves and give us the ability to show support and something that means something special to us, and just to have as many players as we do from all over the world, really, now with international guys coming in and stuff, just to have that reach with the players and be able to kind of put out causes that we find important. I think it's special that we get to kind of be people for a weekend, if you will. This is my first year with just one mic, but every year I choose something that's pretty close to me. So glad to be able to help out friends and family, just get their message out there and spread Foundation's their goal and what they're trying to get accomplished.
So last year during My Cause My Cleats, I knew I wanted to do something close to SHO. So SHO is something that I actually have the trait, and my dad has the trait as well. So it was something close to me. It has affected me and my family. So I reached out I did a little bit of research to kind of figure out, hey, like, is there a foundation? And I ended up finding that SHO does have a foundation. So I decided to go with the Sickle Cell Disease Foundation and kind of, promote awareness around it. It's not too prevalent overall, but really in the Black community, it is, especially with people that actually have the disease. That's the biggest thing. There's a big difference between people that have the disease and people that have the trait. Luckily I have the trait, so I'm able to do everything, able to, live life fine. But I know people that are affected with the disease, it can get really bad. So, but that's how I found it. Did a little bit of research because it was close to me and my family. So the cleats were awesome. It's a red and white cleat, which was awesome. And it had little red blood cells on it, which was amazing. And then obviously it has the Sickle Cell Disease Foundation in a small print, kind of towards the heel. So it was an amazing cleat. They did a great job making up the mock-up of it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
This year, I probably will donate them to the foundation. Last year, I kept them just because it was kind of it was a big deal for me. It was my first My Cause My Cleats. Yeah, so I wanted to keep them. This year, I probably will donate them for sure because obviously I'm kind of getting a bigger and closer relationship with the foundation. So I think this year it'd be beneficial for them to get my cleats this year.
It was something I got introduced to when I was in college. Was able to go to the Special Olympics out there in Bowling Green, and I spent some time in a special ed classroom and just grew my interest for it, and I think it's a great cause to support.
I know that you still keep up with doing events with them. What is that like to actually meet some of the athletes that you help to support?
Yeah, it's awesome. Being in a position of playing NFL football, a lot of people kind of look up to you, and you can be somewhat of an inspiration to them. And I find it the exact opposite when I get to go and be involved and be a part of kind of the Special Olympics, especially down in Long Beach the last few years. So they're an inspiration to me, and just watching them go out and compete and do their thing, it's pretty special.
It's interesting. Whenever I talk to NFL players about especially this initiative, they tell me the same thing. It's like what you get out of it, is like tenfold, because you get to actually do something that kind of just uplifts you.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's something that allows guys to use the platform that they have to show support for things that they care strongly about off the field.
Exactly. Now, every year you get the cleats. Do you keep them? Do you donate them? What do you do with yours?
So what we've done in the past, I believe the first couple years I kept them, because I thought they were very cool and it was something special to me. What we've done in the last couple years is we've actually reached out and had one of the Special Olympics athletes design the cleats themselves, have an artist come paint them for me, and then what we've done is after we play in them, end up surprising the athlete that designed them and giving them back to them for something that they can keep, which I think is pretty cool.
And remember, you can watch Playing the Field 24/7 at playingthefieldtv.com. And on the next show, you are not going to want to miss 1 minute of my one-on-one interview with defensive dynamo Raheem Morris. And that will do it. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you in 2024.